You ready to go to the calls?
Yeah, let's go over to Mike.
Hey, Mike, welcome to the CNC Auto Show, and what can we help you with today?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate the call.
I've got a 2002 Dodge Caravan, the short model, 3.3. It's been a great car, but recently, within the last few months, I'm not sure if it's something to do with the transmission. I'm trying to find out if it would be beneficial to do a transmission service where you change the oil filter, etc. When I'm stop sign, whatever, I'm feeling like a bump, intermittent kind of bump, and I can't quite tell if it's the engine or the transmission. I'm leaning more towards transmission.
So, Mike, just to be clear, so we're coming, say, from a stop, say just 20 miles an hour down. Do you feel the bump at probably 5 to 7 miles an hour? It just feels like a harsh downshift in the transmission?
No, it's not a shift.
Okay.
It's just almost like if the engine would skip in two.
Are you feeling this even though the car's not rolling? In other words, you've already come to the stop and you're just sitting there. Then you feel a bump, or are you only feeling it when the vehicle's moving?
Well, no, mostly when I'm just stopped.
Okay.
The car's in drive, it puts on the brake.
Okay.
Although occasionally you'll feel that little bump.
Tell them what
you're driving.
what the term for that is.
Fish bite?
Yeah, a fish bite at idle, maybe?
What is it again?
A fish bite?
A fish bite?
Yeah, where the little cork kind of pops down and you
just
feel
a very abrupt, quick, like
feel
cut
like a
out.
boop.
Yeah, just a little bump if you feel it in the seat of your pants. And
okay. Well, knowing that, what about at, say, 42 to 45 miles an hour? Do you ever feel that same bump?
No, not really. As a matter of fact, I just drove the car on a trip 2,000 miles up to upstate New York and back.
Okay. I guess the two things Aaron and I are kind of listening to is it could be an ignition misfire, and those misfires are kind of present at idle, like what you're describing, but they are also present at around that speed range that I was mentioning, because that's when the vehicle goes
usually if you have one at idle, you also have one at 42
speed,
if it's ignition.
because the vehicle goes into lockup and it's in overdrive and it's really straining the ignition system on the vehicle. What about the history of tune-up parts, plugs, wires, and stuff like that?
I've had it for, it's got 198,000 on it now. I've had it from about 106, and I've never done.
Okay,
John Rod, I'd say that's a big.
Well, that's pretty impressive, because to be honest with you, those are actually a 30,000 mile plug. Believe it or not, those are champion.
Oh, I'm
plugs.
telling you, this car's been tremendous.
Yeah, that's really good. So we might be onto something. I can tell you what a technician would do is, of course, try and duplicate that concern. They would have a scan tool in there, and they'd pull up the misfire data. There's a little graph that shows all 6 cylinders firing, and say if it was 1, it could be 2, it could be any cylinder drop out like that. They would see it on a graph if it is indeed a misfire. There's not many things in the transmission that can cause that bump, especially at idle in you're in drive, but the only thing that's, I guess connected to the engine would be the torque converter at that point. No, of course the clutches are holding, but they're not transferring any kind of load or anything like that. So, which is a good thing, because we don't really want it to be a transmission issue anyway. So we want it to be something more along the lines of tune-up.
And with that number of miles,
in it, I'll scrap it.
Yeah, with that number of miles, I believe I would go ahead if you were going to do the maintenance tune-up. Here's what I look at on that. It's most likely that, and even if it's not, you hadn't wasted money, because there's no question with that mileage you're due.
Yeah.
And if I did it, I believe I'd recommend going ahead and doing the plugs, the plug wires. Don't that one have a coil pack, John Ryan?
It does, but the 3.3 was actually a pretty good coil. You don't normally have problems with it.
Yeah, with a misfire like that. But you may or may not need a coil pack on there, and that one does not have a fuel filter, does it?
Actually, O2 might.
Okay, if it has a fuel filter, you may want to replace that at the same time. Consider an induction service on the vehicle, and doing all that, you will most likely.
Something. You're forgetting something.
Hold on. Induction service, air filter.
3.3. That's all you have to remember.
3.3.
PCV valve.
Oh, PCV valve. Yes.
Oh yeah. Right.
Okay. Very good. And do those items, and you're not wasting money, and you'll most likely solve your problem.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thanks. I appreciate it very much. Have a great day.
Hey, Mike, great call. Thank you.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, I don't think we're going to have time to go to another phone call, so we will mention a couple of do-it-yourself type items. Would you consider changing a tire a do-it-yourself item?
Like physically a tire on a wheel, or are we
Yeah,
talking about like putting a spare
or
tire on?
or a valve stem?
No.
Well, no, I'm talking about taking it off
The rim?
Off the rim.
No, you can forget.
I
I
don't-
used to
I
have to
don't
do that
think
with
so either.
lawnmowers and stuff. I'll never do that again.
Yeah, I think that, and plus that's so inexpensive. If
Mm-hmm.
you were to take a tire in somewhere, and let's say you needed a valve
You
stem
just
or
need
needed
a mount
tire,
balance. It's under $20. Just about where you
exactly.
go. Yeah.
And so I would recommend, if you had something like a tire now, a spare tire.
Yeah, I think spare tires are a DIY. The only issue with that is, of course, so many vehicles don't even come with a spare anymore.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes it hard to change if you don't have it. Most vehicles, not most, but a good percentage come with a kit. It's called a slime kit, and it's a little compressor, has a cartridge of slime, and it basically puts slime in the tire, which is great. But my thing is, if you round a turn and you pinch a tire and it's got a huge hole, now you literally are stuck on the side of the road, and you have to call some sort of towing service. Which is what probably 90% of drivers are going to do.
Well, it's
but
actually what I recommend doing, because there's some safety items involved in trying to change a tire on the side of a road.
I agree. I just, in my own instance, I would much rather be able to put a spare tire on, keep going, because I could do it in.
But the big, let's say that you're on the interstate. And
Yeah, no,
you got
I get
cars
that.
whizzing
Yeah,
by.
absolutely.
And then of course you have the issues with the part having to do with the jack being a little wobbly. Things like that can be tricky. So,
But I'm gonna be
we'll
honest. If I ever see a tow truck behind your car and you're not changing the spare tire, I'm gonna give you a hard time about it.
I would deserve it.
Yeah.
Okay, John Ryan, the time clock is on E, and we need to pull over for now, but we'll be back on the road in no time. I'm Aaron Clements with co-host John Ryan Mooney. Our show producers are Zach Llewellyn, Bo Roberts, Dominic Frito, Sandy Klein, and we would all like to say thank you to all of you that tuned in, logged in, especially those that called in to ride with us on the CNC Auto Show.